Good. Okay, great. Welcome to the Monday, October 16th committee meeting for the Festival of Chimes and Lights. We're going to jump right in it. We've got lights and decoration updates. We don't have anyone here from public service, but do you have anything at all from them?
I don't. I think Bill's been communicating directly with Janine, but last I heard is we're just doing what we've always done.
Right. And we did hear, of course, Terry let us know last time too that Roger Jensen had been in contact with probably Bill. And it was all fine. They were taking care of it. Everything was in good
Setting
order.
it up for the Thursday before Thanksgiving.
And
Yeah,
there
they
we
usually
have
do it the week before Thanksgiving. Yep.
So all of that's in order.
Yep.
Okay. Sound system. Sheila let me know that she didn't have a chance to get more information. Okay. But we'll get that ironed out very soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's under the threshold of the new procurement policy, so it doesn't need to go before council. So when we have it, we should have
then we
it.
can move forward. And I think what we talked about before is it was a good price for the first year, but that was almost going to double in the oncoming years if we shared a sound person with Jingle Bell Run. So it's always
Do you need a keyboard thing? Is that what you're looking at, or just a speaker?
Oh no, it's quite a lot of
there's a couple-
equipment.
A lot of equipment.
And Gus has done it in the past for us, and the thing about Gus is that he just knows the ins and outs of everything here. Where to plug in the round, and he just knows about all our foibles.
Even to the point of the wind and the rain and the best position. Like I think we had it at the in the center of the roundabout, and that wind, he said it was horrible, just coming back with a bunch of feedback.
In it.
So he nestles in there on the corner, and he really has learned a lot about what works for us and not. So it's really hard to try to.
I mean, we could
break
try
in in
with a
person.
different vendor if that's what the committee or the chair wants to do, but.
Have you thought about borrowing the ports? It's not a real elaborate system.
Well, that's the problem we have to have, because it has to have, because I believe it's been a while, the Mr. Santa Claus has a mic down the road.
Yeah.
And so you have to have the distance, and then he takes that mic and goes down. Does it work all the way down to or just past City Hall?
He hands it off.
Okay.
And then when they march on, but yeah, it's the logistics. It isn't just a single sound system.
It's elaborate.
Is it worth it to go with a new vendor that doesn't know all these ins and outs?
Well,
Is it, shall we?
well, you know what? That has always been my conundrum. Is right. What about the year it doesn't go right?
Yeah, everyone
those
said,
things
what a
you
good
don't
deal
have
you
it.
got on the sound system.
So-
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it could be you don't know what you
Yeah.
have until it's gone, or it could
That's
be, wow,
right.
we never even knew this existed.
Right,
So it's at what year do you want to try that?
And actually, Gus's
Here I'm out
proposal, Gordon's sound quote was about 100 plus increase. It wasn't huge.
Gordon Sound?
Yeah, and he'd been keeping the price down for us for quite a while. And now he has an assistant come. So, and here's another thing, committee. It just occurred to me, we have more choirs than ever. So here he is accommodating for an additional choir this year. So we're starting our music earlier because we have 5 choirs.
Nice.
And it is nice. So there's 4 from schools, and then there's Kids Up Community Chorale, which is the last one, and they help to lead any kind of sing-alongs and that kind of thing. Any kind of filler if we need it. Sometimes we have some time. We're all looking around like, okay. Well, that's really good time for them to step up. And they have a keyboard they work with, and some instruments they kind of change out. And see,
It sounds like we're going with the same guy again.
Gus really knows how to deal with all that. And we're out there and we're swamped. There's so much that goes on.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is it. Isn't it really? He just knows how to do it all.
Well, this is like having a party at your house. When you have more than like 8 people, you need to have somebody there to serve the food so you can be with your guests. Because we don't have time
You don't
to
have
do this
time
monkey
to
business.
cook.
And the
Yeah.
whole event is about sound, and we need reliability.
And if it was a
I
huge
agree.
savings, I think we would have to look at it, but it might even be a little more. So I think we are leaning in that direction. We'll wait for the price to come in because we have to really do that, take a peek at that. But we would have to actually train him, and I'm not sure who would do that. I can't.
I don't know that a vendor would. You know what I mean? It's
I don't think a
competitor,
vendor
so
will
you're not gonna
train
train your
another vendor.
competitor.
Is
Yeah.
the city required to go out for like 3 bids?
No,
It's
we-
under the procurement requirement, so we're
Yeah,
good.
the amount is
Okay.
low enough. Okay, anyway, we'll wait for that information. Sheila was going to get back in touch with us and see. And part of the reason she's wanted it is because she was hoping the city would split the difference with her system.
Yeah.
And that would make it a lot easier and they'd have more money for their cause. So I think.
But it sounds like to me, just based on what was quoted in the past, is that it's 2 separate systems.
Yeah, it is.
And if there's a way to streamline that process, I think we could maybe get there in the next year or 2, but I don't know that's something that we want to try this year.
Right, and again, the elephant in the room is weather.
Yeah.
Everything has to be covered and
And
dealt
that's a
with.
very unpredictable weekend.
We almost always have rain. We do. So the equipment has to be
Freezing
protected,
temperatures.
and and that's something that Gus seems to have down because he's all around here all the time. So anyway, that's what we're waiting for. That bit of pricing information. Otherwise, I think I am leaning towards the experience.
And if we did go with Gus, I don't know Gus, but if we did go with Gus, then maybe Sheila could work with him and get her discount that way. If he has the ability to do her.
Yeah,
her sound
she has in the
system.
past, and he does not have the system she needs. She needs something that goes over the street because runners coming through
Oh.
for the run and announcing, and everything happens very quickly. And because they have timed running, they have to have, it has to be very precise. So this person has what she needs for that, and I guess wasn't able to provide that. So see, each of them are working for each of our events, which are very different. We just tried to come up with a mutual thing, and maybe it won't work. But we haven't decided yet. And Gus does have his quote in, so that will be the next meeting. Okay, miscellaneous updates. So we're moving forward with the flyer. We have also got our little insert done for the utility billing.
Good.
Yes, so that will be ready with the next billing. That'll be coming out. We're really close to having all the information we need for the schedule. There's just a few things that are outstanding. Kathleen said that, that was one thing I wanted to double check, is that the churches we're okay with the same time slots and their locations.
So far, so good. The only one I'm waiting on, I think it's the Knights of Pythias.
Oh, yeah.
When I contacted the phone number that we have, the gentleman was actually retired, so he only stops in the office every couple days, so he's supposed to call me
Okay.
next time he's in
And
the
I'll
office.
dig through some old records to see if I have his house number, but I've always called him at his work.
Okay.
Because that's just the number that was passed on to me, so I will look and see if we can
Okay.
get that narrowed down.
Okay, and I know that you said that the Saints were on with everything in front of the sign. That worked
Yep.
out.
Cookies and coffee.
Okay, good. Cookies and coffee. Got that down. Kind of the latest news is that POPSA is going to be working to put on the Pooch and Purr Parade with the
Pops is going to
sponsorship.
do it.
POPSA. Sponsorship is going to be Woodside Veterinary Hospital. Isn't that cool? So they're going to help with prizes and all of the extras that are needed to put that on. So that can be another free event. It
Nice.
just works out so well to have that back.
And the West Side, who'd you say was sponsoring?
Woodside.
Woodside.
Animal Hospital.
Mhm.
So we'll give quite a shout out to them for
Yeah.
helping us with that. I really didn't want to lose that event. It's
A lot of
always
people
been
come.
so
It's
fun.
amazing.
Yeah.
I just love dressing up their little pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including those bunnies. So that was something we were waiting on. We're just waiting on Kitsap Bank for a new ad, some photos. Do we have any new photos from Chimes and Lights?
We reached out last year for any.
We did. We didn't
and I
get too
don't.
much.
Yeah.
I have one from the Jingle Bell Run, which is really cute. It's a little girl in a tutu. We'll make use of that. It's just that we're using the same photos. We'll see
Yeah.
what
I'm
we
hoping
have
if the
left with
weather's
our
good.
advertising. Maybe we can actually get a photographer out there this year to try to capture some things. Although we won't have a lot of money,
Yeah.
but we do need some new photos.
Yeah.
And you know what the problem is they're all at night. You know, so we've had difficulty
I
capturing.
knew it. I knew there was a problem.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Right. So it's, yeah.
There was a gentleman that emailed me, Dibji, something like that. He did a bunch of photos over the 4th of July and sent them all to me.
Uh-huh.
And he's a local person. I can forward you his
Would you?
name. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pull up his email and just
So
shoot
he
that
did
to
4th
you.
of July nighttime shots?
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
Yeah, they
Okay.
were gorgeous. He did great night shots.
Okay.
I mean, his camera
Yeah, that's
was
a
so
great vendor
was so
source.
good that Merlin's camera did nothing compared to this guy's camera and zeroing in the center of those fireworks.
Wow.
He did a really nice job,
Okay,
and he sent them all to me. So I'll send you his name.
please.
Yeah.
That would be great because, you know, I would actually be in favor of giving up a little advertising to get some new and great photos. Because
His were awesome at
you
night.
can
shot.
only keep using these so long and then everything, I mean, most of our look is the same anyway, but to have a few would be great. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's see what was left after that.
And then I just have one comment about the chimes and lights, the actual tower, clock tower. So we reached out to the IT/finance. Oh no, it switched over to Public Works.
Yes.
Trying to figure out. It used to be under the structure of IT/finance, and so they've done some changeover in staff, and so I think now it's being handled through Public Works. So there's going to be some training that is going to be taking, behind the scene type of thing.
Yeah.
And so just FYI, it may not go as smooth as in the past, but they're working on it.
Okay,
Is this-
so I work with Public Works to maybe do a little practice
Did
run.
we say did they say who it was going to be? Dennis or?
I want to say they said Dennis, but I don't know if they finalized it.
Okay.
But I think that was who was recommended.
So once we know officially, who, I think it was Corey and Steve, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll finalize that in the next day or two, who the actual contact is, and then we'll let you know.
Okay, and I know that we have on the list of music, Here Comes Santa Claus, and that's our theme this year. So why not,
Here
right?
comes Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
And what, does it say what chip number, and so it just says number
It's number 20
20, and what's the
on
top?
chip, book
718?
3, internal chip.
Oh, let's see.
Internal chip book 3. Number 20. Here Comes Santa Claus, okay? Perfect.
What do you have to do? Get out coal and steam? fire
Actually,
it,
basically, you have
Kinda.
somebody up there looking down with
It's a
binoculars.
manual, waiting for somebody to.
And you
pull
gotta
out
get the
the-
tape, you gotta
One,
basically start a
two.
tape. And the equipment is old, it's really weathery up there, windy and all these things. It's
That's a good job for you.
Oh, classy. Would you like to do that? Are you volunteering?
What? What? I have this problem with my hearing. Every once in a while my hearing.
Do you need an audiology appointment?
Ideology. Yeah. No, I'm not that religious.
And that is a little tricky because we are throwing a fake switch,
ADIO.
and the chimes are supposed to coordinate.
Magically start.
Yeah. So, okay, that's one of
So
the
we're
things that
working on
we're
that.
working out. So I have talked to Sheila again about the 10 by 20, this was, actually, is this a 20 by 40? The large tent across the street, I think it's a 20 by 40,
Yes.
that she has up, under which she has her registration and everything.
Across the way over
Right.
here.
Now, she has asked for help in paying for that because we do use that, and I think it's a huge asset.
Yeah, because it goes. Now I can't remember. Did we keep it there, or was
We
it
keep it
moved
there.
over? I know it was a
It was
miscommunication
kept
last
there.
year.
and there-
We keep the
It was
big one
never
there, and we need the smaller ones up in front for us. We
But
need,
she keeps it up after Jingle Ball Run, and it stays there. Is that what they use for the shelter for the hayride? I can't remember what they used it for after
I
they're
don't.
done.
I've never been down here when the hayride starts, so I don't know where they pick them up at.
hayrides, I don't think they actually have a shelter for the hayrides. Maybe they bring their own, but it maybe the end was used. I'll have to find out. I just know that in the photos that I do have, even though they're dark, you can see that all the people are huddled under there. That whole space
Especially if
is
it's
filled.
raining, they're gonna huddle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I think
Prior to that.
is that it would be something that we should consider paying money towards that. And I asked her what was her ask on that, what was fair. We've been talking back and forth. She pays $762, and that includes the tent and delivery. She pays $112 for delivery.
But no setup?
Yeah, and that one takes,
Yeah.
special ends. They need to be
Include
weighted.
setup or not include?
Yeah, I think it includes. She's asking $250 from the city, and I think that is very fair. And if we have it in our budget, what part of our budget could that actually come from? We do rentals.
Yes, and I'm gonna just double check that would come out of that fund, because there is 1,100 budgeted, but I think that is for the,
Sound system.
it used to be for the lease, not the lease, the rental for, split between the port in the city when they were doing the decorations,
Oh, okay.
for the lights,
Yeah.
for take up, because they do it the week before Thanksgiving. They split that cost with the port, and then they split it again in January or February when they take it down. So there's the boom truck and one other one I don't have it mentioned, but
Well,
let me find
again,
out.
if we need to.
Let me find out which fund it would come out of. I'm
Okay.
sure it would be that one.
Okay, well,
If
in
not-
our brochure price, I think we have more budgeted than we are actually spending. We're doing $11.88 on the brochures, and I think we have more budgeted than that.
The other thing is, I just need to know if it comes out of the rental and the lease, because we're technically leasing it, which makes sense to me, but I don't know the BARS manual. So the other option would be under the miscellaneous category, which I'm sure we'll have
Okay.
enough under there.
Well, I just
So-
think that that's a very fair ask. If we had to do that on our own, we would be spending at least that $762. And that goes back towards, again, their fundraiser. We would actually pay it directly to Advanced Rentals in Paulsbo.
Okay, so they would need to invoice us.
Yes.
Okay, so they would invoice.
Yes.
It would be a break. Okay.
Right, and wouldn't that be very good?
Yeah.
That would be how you prefer with the city as well, right?
Yes.
It's a nice, clean way.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the other thing that I'll have to confirm too is,
Okay.
since they're doing business in the city, they may have to have a business license. I don't know if they have one now or not, but sometimes they'll just add that to the cost of the rental. I know a lot of businesses do. So I need to make sure. that
I'm
they have a
guessing they
business-
must, because they do a lot of business in Port Orchard, because the other rental place closes down for that winter season. So I would think that we're renting from them all the time. But yeah, I don't know that, Sheila may, but.
But what was the name of it? I'll check.
Yeah, Advanced Rentals in Paulsbo. So
I'll see if they have
perhaps
a
what we
city
do is we
business
reach
license.
out and ask them to do that, or maybe that will have to be done through Sheila. Don't you
Yeah,
think?
I think
Yeah,
so,
I think
yeah.
that makes the most sense. Okay, but that's what that will be.
Okay.
So everybody feels good about that? Okay.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I do too.
We're
I'm-
using it. We might as well pay for a portion
Well-
that we're using, or benefiting it. Probably
Yes.
should say maybe.
Do you put anything under it at night, or just it's there for a covering?
It's there for a covering.
Okay.
And everybody was standing underneath it, At one point when it was raining, it was just like sardines, they fit right in. And it's a really nice sturdy tent, so straight across the street. We still need.
Is it anchored down so if the wind comes up?
Oh, huge.
Okay.
That's part of the reason that you can't
It's-
hardly move it. It's a heavy-duty tent,
Mhm.
and I think they have concrete.
Big blocks to hold it?
Yeah, it's pretty substantial. We're still needing to work out the covering for the choirs, so keep working on that.
Up here?
Yes. Do you have any suggestions? No.
Only that Chambers got a 20-foot covering. Probably
Didn't
lots
we
of
used to give it
10 by
from Bay
10s
Ford?
that you could cover with.
Who was it? Bayford?
Bay
It's good to
Ford
have too many holes.
used to
You get
donate,
a little
and they
more
would,
Yeah.
spread out.
they would come,
Yeah,
the
I know.
deal was
I know
years
the
ago
Chambers
is,
got a 20
as long as
foot
we
one.
had our parking lot, where the police department parking lot is, cleared out by a certain amount of time, they came in and set it up, let us use it, and took it away.
I'll check.
But I think that was before the ownership of Bruce Titus, but I think he always operated it, right? He just didn't own it. I don't know the workings of all of that, but we used to get it from them.
Okay, we can check on that.
Or
Because-
now Port Orchard Ford.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Gotta get used to that
Keep it up
name.
with the times, I know.
Yeah, because we have to have that.
They used to have one, so.
Yeah.
um,
And we did.
What's the width on that out there?
Well, we were looking for a 10 by 20, and then we were looking for a 10 by 10 right on.
Yeah, I think they have a huge one. I want to say a 20 by 20.
And that's
Or they
a
had
chamber.
two, or they had two 10 by 10s that they put together, but it was a big one that they only wanted their people to
Put it together.
put it up and take it down. The downfall is I had to stay up. I think it was like the weekend because they have it Friday, you know, and then it has to be set up Friday, and then they come and get it on Monday.
And that wouldn't be bad, you know?
No, it wouldn't be bad.
We would just check with the police department to make sure.
And I would agree
Oh.
with them taking it down because I got one of mine broken by somebody who
Didn't
took
know
it
what they
down,
were
didn't know
doing.
what they were
Yeah.
doing and broke it.
That was the only rule, but I don't know why. Bill might be a good person. We could
I
probably
will
ask him
ask
why
him
it
that.
changed. Yeah, just ask him why it changed. I don't know. Maybe they don't have it anymore, or it's broken, or they just.
Okay.
Could
I will
be.
check on that.
Could
You know that the Dragonfly is on with showing
Yes.
the elf is what it's going to be. Really, there aren't too many other changes. I'm waiting to hear back from Kathleen. They're doing the pine cone gnome ornament, which is fun, and they have the marionettes back this year.
Excuse me.
Now, down at the waterfront with Santa. Oh, we need something for Santa to sit on.
He has a chair.
He has a chair?
He has his own chair from what Al told me. That he has his own chair.
This new Santa has his own chair?
Aren't we having Dennis Simpson?
No,
Why, I was told Dennis was our Santa.
no. It's Pat Oster, and the reason being
Pat?
Pat Oster. He works with the school system,
Mm-hmm.
and Dennis is filling in for another. They have tiered Santas.
I know, back in New York.
Right. Well, he's in one of the top tiers, right? Dennis. And another top tier Santa had an opportunity of a lifetime to pose with the Coke bottle to do the commercial with Santa Coke. Cool. Anyway, so he's doing that, and Dennis
that
is taking
pulled
his
Dennis
place.
up then.
So
I
we had
hadn't
to
heard
pull in
that.
another Santa, and our new Santa is Pat Oster. Oster.
Are they all
Okay.
local? Do we have a bunch of local Santas?
Yeah, well, at least
Colony
it's
somewhere.
regional. But nothing
Regional.
else.
England
Yeah.
somewhere.
I mean, it's not like
Yes.
coming from
No, no,
Nebraska or
no,
something.
guys-
You know what I mean?
No, they're
Wow,
we
I
have a
didn't
lot
even
of
think of that.
Santas, and I think it's because the environment and there's a lot of
For the Northwest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Universities around.
He's coming home for Thanksgiving
Wow.
weekend because I haven't heard otherwise, because he's our Santa for Santa breakfast the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Who is? Oh yeah,
Dennis Simpson.
Dennis. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, he said he's coming home.
Okay.
He did.
But then he's turning right around and go right back.
Well, he didn't say where this was taking place. He just said he's taking the place of Pat, or this other man's job.
So
they
therefore
just,
he won't
ching,
be
ching,
here.
ching. We got
Okay.
Pat, and Dennis was kind enough to find a replacement Santa for us. So,
Well, he did have his own chair, so if there's a possibility of us borrowing his chair,
if he's not
he
using
could bring it on Thanksgiving
I
Saturday.
mean, the new Santa has his own equipment. You would think if they would do it all the time, they'd have their own equipment, right? Or is he just?
Well, he
Or is
might
he just-
have,
or the-
he might
the
have
one that we
access
normally do
to a
is
and
chair.
Pat, if he
Extreme.
doesn't have it, he may know where we could find a chair.
Can you rent a Santa chair?
Well, and I know Sheila said what they've done before in the past is just gone down to Goodwill or something and borrowed an easy chair.
Mhm.
You know, put a drape or something over it,
Oh.
and just had a regular chair down there.
Mhm.
So that's a possibility, but
Okay.
we have to have somebody who would do all this. So let me contact Pat first and ask about chair.
Yeah,
And otherwise, we are going to need to solve that and have
Okay.
that set up. We also need somebody to handle hay bales.
I'm not quite strong enough. But with Al on board this year, that kind of pushes things off on other people.
I know. So we need a volunteer. We need some
So the hay's been
Dell's fee.
Dell's, and they've always we just need somebody to go to Dell's,
Al
bring
has
it, and
always
bring
picked it up
back.
on his trailer.
Yeah.
The,
And then if it's not damaged, we can return it. That's that's the agreement.
Mhm.
So we need a volunteer to pick that up, and I guess we also need volunteer to pick up the fire bins, is that right?
From what, I just talked to Al coming down because I've emailed him 3 times, no response, so I said I'm gonna call. And what he told me was that he had talked to Kathleen
Okay,
after some meeting.
okay.
That may have been the last POMSA meeting, or this last meeting, because I wasn't here. And said that Kathleen has asked that we borrow them. Somebody's gonna pick them up and take care of them and return them. And I don't know who that somebody is. I don't know if POMSA is doing it. I'll be at the POMSA meeting on Thursday and so can certainly ask that question Thursday.
Could you?
Because at this point, I don't know. I asked him originally if Jim could deliver them because Bob Morehouse on Fathom's board said he would take care of them and keep them going during that night.
Oh, so we have someone to tend to them. We
If-
just need maybe a pickup and a return?
A pickup and a return
And where are they at?
at Al's house.
Where
Which
does he
is-
live?
What area? South
He lives
Kitsap?
over by the Mormon church off of Sedgwick.
Because what I'm just gonna ask is, I know that some of this stuff, maybe it's always been Fathoms, but I know that there was some support from Public Works on some of these, but I don't know, each administration is different, how much they wanna allow.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Well,
Cal-
Because it's overtime for our Public Works to
Mhm.
attend to some of these, but I
Mhm.
think as a Plan B, we might be able to default to Public Works, the people that are on call anyways,
Mhm.
to do some of this. I'm sure we got the truck to do it and the manpower to do it.
Yeah.
It's just,
And
it's not.
The way he phrased it to me was, if it was Kathleen that he spoke to and he said her name, is that they would have one of their own take care of it.
Mm.
Now,
Who owns the fire pits?
Al does.
Oh, so they're not.
Oh, it's
They're
not
not
even
Fathoms,
Fathoms?
they're
Oh,
Al's.
you're kidding. Okay, I always thought they were Fathoms.
If they're Fathoms, I don't know that. No,
Okay.
they're Al's personal
Mhm.
fire pits.
But
Is
we-
Al out because of health issues? Or what?
No, he just said he was gonna resign after the 50th year. And so I've got an article coming out in the newspaper Friday. I went down and talked with the editor of putting a positive word out there that we need a replacement float builder. We need a place to store our float, house our truck and house our trailer and what we need to go forward. So he just retired. We're all aging out.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, we need some young blood.
Okay, we need to put the ask out there
Yeah.
for some of these volunteers.
So I will verify with Kathleen on Thursday morning
Okay.
because you haven't talked to Al, right? Okay, he said he talked to Kathleen and one of their own. Now, who one of their own is, I thought he was referring to the city, that Public Works would probably take care of that. But that's an assumption that I don't want to make.
You know, there was that one church that approached us, asked if we could advertise for them.
Yes.
I wonder if we could approach some of the churches and ask if they would have some volunteers that could handle some of these projects.
I know the one that does the chili.
Calvary?
always-
Is that Calvary?
Four
I thought
Square.
Taste and See
Heritage
did
Four
the-
Square.
It is for, yes, it's Heritage.
He's the
for-
one that is always asked, if there's everything you need, anything, let us know.
Pastor Fred.
Yes.
Is it Pastor Fred?
I know
Yeah,
he's
Pastor
always, he's a big.
We sold him our dunk tank, so we borrowed the dunk tank back for the cruise. But he's got the dunk tank.
Okay, so
he might be a
Heritage.
good resource. If he's unable to, maybe he can.
Maybe he
get
would
some
know.
people together, yeah. 'Cause I know
That would be a
this-
great project. And again, we could, give them a shout out and tell them thank you so
Or I
much.
thought somebody on the Chimes and Lights committee had an contact with the Boy Scouts.
Well, we've tried that in the past. And you
This
know what?
isn't-
It didn't.
Doesn't pan out. I was thinking fire pits, but I don't know. If they have fire pits.
On the
I don't know.
When we did our birthday committee, I remember Roger and your president, Mark,
Yes,
talking
sir.
about their connection with the Boy Scouts with regard to the marble tournament.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember that.
Okay. Well,
Different
you can
meeting.
see. Keep your ears open. We'll be looking for some volunteers
And
to
we'll have
manage
candy
this.
canes for Santa for all the kids, because we've always got a supply left over from our Santa breakfast that the court takes down
Okay.
For Santa.
Oh, and the
Okay.
court is gonna be going down there.
Mhm.
Oh, perfect. So they'll take the candy canes. Yay!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have you acknowledged. Okay, so that works. Yeah, I took off, take photos on a sleigh. We'll acknowledge that there's gonna be photos, but we'll get rid of the sleigh and that'll just leave us open to whatever we find.
Okay.
But I do think even an armchair would work, if it's a substantial chair, you know?
I got
But we need
I got a high bar stool.
We could reach out to a Napalm
I don't
City,
think so.
see what they do, like, you know,
With ours.
high for, who's the one that, Bill was looking at, and they had a big, a couple years ago, we were looking for artificial one, and they have a big one too, for Crest or University Place or something. I don't know what they have, but
Okay.
worst case, let us know.
Okay, if we don't
if
find
you-
something?
Right, and we'll
Okay, well,
I would
contact
think-
somebody.
And I'm just throwing this out, maybe
Yeah.
as a suggestion, if you're talking to the school. They have a shop up there. Surely they must have
Oh, like a
chair.
Santa workshop?
No, at the
Oh.
high school, they have a workshop, you know, an actual wood workshop. Why couldn't they have their workshop build one?
is it
School
full
project.
time? I don't know, there's enough time.
Doesn't-
Month and
Doesn't take long to build one.
But we have to make sure it's a really good chair. Because you don't want that chair going,
I
wow.
think to get all that together in a month.
It'd be hard. I think it would too. And you know, I mean, kids are sitting on his lap, so the chair has to be really good.
But that would be good for next year. It's not too early to start for next year. And have one.
Chair for next year.
Enter a contest.
You know what? That we do need something like
Fathoms,
that.
you can enter a Fathoms contest to build
Have
your
a
own
big,
sleigh.
you know, Nordic looking thing.
Oh, you guys have one.
And
You have a
it-
sleigh, right?
We have the sleigh, but it's been out in the elements, and so,
Oh.
and again, that is Al's personal sleigh.
it is, okay.
He purchased that himself, to my understanding. Fathoms didn't.
So you actually have it,
I don't.
but he does.
He does.
Does
the
it
sleigh.
just does it just need some touching up, or is it?
I have no idea what it needs. He didn't go into detail.
I just can't imagine Al hoarding a sleigh after he retires from all these events. Just sitting out in it, thinking about yesteryear. So he
Yeah.
might want to just get rid of it.
He might.
Yeah.
He might. I have no idea what
The
his
price is right.
Oh,
plans
yeah, we could maybe ask if he'd like to sell it.
are. I can ask him.
Of course, where's the city going to keep this thing, huh?
I don't think the city would.
In your office, Brandy?
Yeah.
Always put Alan's old
It
effigy
changed-
in there.
Change the look of
We can
your
get creative. We
office.
had tons of boxes around there. We could figure out how to dismantle a sleigh for 9 months out of the year.
Yeah.
Well,
By
you know,
10 months
maybe I'll
out of the
start
year.
with asking Al if he has any interest in selling the sleigh, if it's in good condition.
Yeah, I'll ask.
I don't know that the city could purchase. Well, we might if it's part of the festival. Yeah.
Speaking of
Good.
purchasing something, when we rent this tent, will somebody remind me if I don't remember? Go down, look at the tag on it, get some measurements, and contact the company. $700 and some plus tax is a huge amount of money to put out every year. I can't imagine those tents wouldn't cost more than like $3,000 or $4,000.
I think she looked into it, but it's a store. Nobody can store it anywhere. They don't have a big enough area to store. Isn't that? Because I think that's what we looked into buying our own, and we don't have anywhere to store it.
But that's an average rental price, and I say
Well, I'm
that.
not saying it's not, they're gouging it, but I'm just
Oh,
saying,
yeah, 'cause
when
to
you look
buy
at
it,
it over a few
to buy
years,
your cost
in 10
over
years,
years.
you've spent $8,000.
Yeah,
Well,
correct.
That's a tent. That's a
When
couple
we,
tents.
when the Seroptimus did the reindeer games during that event several years back, and we had the big chili feed down between Old Central and Myries, we had that blocked off, and we had our big tent down there, and that was $700 that we paid for that. That was years ago.
Would it be nice to pay zero and just
Yeah,
consider
it
that
would.
every year you're paying a payment towards it?
Yeah.
I think part of that is, Clancy, is when you consider the wages of Public Works doing a lot of these projects and the benefits being added in, then it starts to balance out, because it really takes some manpower to get that out.
And some of it has to be, even if the city owns it, and so whether the city owns it or not, and based on the type of work that it is, it could be required prevailing wage, whether our employees do it or not. And so once it reaches a certain threshold, we are required to go through a whole procurement process. And or if we decide to go out to a contractor, they're required to have
do that same
an
thing.
intent affidavit.
Right.
And so it just becomes convoluted.
I know. This is not
That's-
the world it used to be. Is
That's
it?
why a
Oh
lot
my
of this,
God, all
that's
this
why we
stuff
don't
is-
own a
something
lot of
makes
or
you
do any
nuts.
of this,
You have to
yeah.
go through all this bullshit. Oh,
So,
I know.
Yeah.
yeah, that's, you know.
Terry knows.
Don't start
it
me
does.
on.
Oh, let's not get Terry started. But no, we all
It's
know.
Christmas time, we're supposed to be happy.
Well,
yeah.
It is tricky.
Yeah,
it is tricky.
Mhm.
I
So,
would look into that. I don't see anything wrong with looking into it and doing the numbers and coming down.
Oh,
with a
yeah,
Final
fine.
answer.
yeah, go
What's the
to-
time
yeah.
frame on the pooch and purr so I can let Helene know because they're gonna probably want the court over there.
Okay, so I am
I'm assuming way before Santa's arrival.
right. And you know, I don't have that email with me. We took it out. Let me see. We took it out a year or two from the brochure because it wasn't free. And 2015 was one of the last ones. I can maybe end up sending you that. But let's see if I can
Yeah.
find it.
And I don't remember either. I know they always try to get the announcements
I-
after or right before if there was some extra
And I
time
didn't end up
before,
putting it
but-
in here yet because it hasn't been confirmed. But it was, you know, it's around for.
That's what I was thinking, between 4 and 5-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then they bring the results up to the main stage, and the announcement would be made at 5:10 to 5:20. So that means if you back up, that I think that pet parade starts at about 4:15.
It's
And
not
then-
very long.
No,
Yeah, it's
there's
very short.
registration for about a half
Right.
an hour.
Right.
So probably about 3:45 to 4:15. I can send that information, and I was just waiting for confirmation to put it back in.
Okay.
I think I sent that to Kathleen being Pomsa. Okay, I think that is pretty much where we're at. We've actually,
You asked me about Santa Claus last time in the fire truck.
oh yes,
We're gonna use the 42 Ford fire truck.
the 42 Ford.
Yes,
Okay,
it was built for a parade truck. The Fathoms girls
That,
used it
That
at
the
the,
court was on.
Court used it during the Fathoms parade,
oh perfect.
so we used that one on.
Okay, 42, a 1942 Ford. Oh, how nice.
It's
Well, that
Ford's
must have been one of the
original
last ones they
fire
made, huh?
Okay.
For the war?
Yeah, it's a war truck.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
because
was
they quit
delivered
making
to the
cars.
city during World War II.
So, Terry, how does that work? So there's a running board or something that he will stand on?
No,
or-
they've cut the hose bed out and he can stand right up in the center where the hose bed is, right behind the hose reel.
Okay. Where, Sharon, where's the royalty during that time? They're right up there with us. They come here.
They're gonna be up here. They'll be wherever you want them to be, and I'm asking the times on the Pops, on the Pooch and Purr that Pops is putting on, because I'm sure that they're
They'll be
gonna
over there
request the girls
first.
for there, unless we split them up depending on how many we have.
Perhaps they can deliver the winners
Okay,
to the main stage.
okay.
Let's see if we can make that work. Or Helene, she'll be with them.
Deliver winner of Pooch and Purr
That would be really efficient.
To the main stage.
to main stage, which
Uh-huh.
is here at City Hall.
Yes, and we usually let them in the front so they can warm up a bit inside.
Okay,
And use the bathroom or whatever, because it's a little easier here for them. They usually
Okay.
have their big hoop skirts on.
Mhm.
I'll talk with Chris Stansbury
Okay,
on Thursday.
Yes.
At Popsa.
I think that would work really well.
Okay.
Then they'll have
But then that way Helene will know, because Helene's coming to Popsa too this week, so
Okay,
that way we'll be able to know for sure.
okay. we're working
And
on-
wherever you want the girls, just let us know.
Okay, well, usually we want them up in front. and
Yeah.
Looking pretty.
Mhm.
Looking beautiful.
Looking cute.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would be wonderful, that transition. With they bringing the information
Yeah.
and
that would-
presenting it.
That would be fun.
I love it.
That
Okay.
would be fun.
Very cool. So we'll find out about that. Terry, thank you about the truck. That's going to work out really well then
No
for Santa.
problem.
And we'll be back in touch with Pat and make sure that he's down there. He hasn't done this before, but he said he's been at Chimes and Lights, so he has a pretty good idea. So I don't think he'll need a lot of training. And Dennis has spoken with him. We'll work on whatever, the sleigh or the chair. And we need our volunteers. So we're going to have probably enough work for, I'd say, 5 or 6 volunteers down there to do some work. Sheila's going to help with getting garbage put into the public works truck. She'll make sure that her volunteers do that when she collects garbage. So we're going to have a truck parked down there, and that's where all the garbage will go.
Did you ever hear back from Waste Management if they would help sponsor? Do you want to give Laura an email?
I saw her this morning. Okay. All right.
And I will confer with Bob if he would tender the fires.
Oh, yes.
So I will,
And what was his name again? Bob what?
Morehouse,
Okay.
Morehouse. We have our board meeting Thursday night, so I'll confer with him via email prior to the board meeting.
Okay. Yay.
And then the special event application's been routed to staff,
Okay.
so that's good to go. The chief has requested the road closure through the state, or will be soon if
Okay.
he hasn't already.
All right.
We sent off our insurance to the state. What else? I think that's it for, and then lodging tax application, oh, that's already done and gone. They're actually gonna be deliberating tonight.
I heard that Gazette Bank is going to be giving us a check soon,
Okay.
and we just want to watch the budget to see what we'll need. Make sure that 250 rental, there's a place there so we don't spend it elsewhere. You know, the thing is, it's the tax. You know, I've just been doing roughly the 10% tax. I don't know if there's usually other fees added to most of our quotes. I don't think so. Just want to stay within budget.
Depends on the
It's really windy
service,
out.
and I don't, AP would know, so I will get together with the AP to find out if we need to add taxes to these. Because
Okay.
whether they charge it or not, whether they may not charge it, but we have to pay excise tax.
Sure.
So, and we don't wanna pay it if,
Right.
is
Yeah,
that
me
right?
too.
I don't know, but I'll check with AP on that about tax.
Okay, and that's the main thing, because a lot of these prices, I'm not sure if they include tax. I'm just
Okay.
seeing the price. But I don't want, that can be a lot on some of these,
Yeah.
$1,500, whatever. I just don't want to run over. Okay, good. So,
And I want to go back to the fire pits again
Yes.
because Al always brought the wood. So that's again another thing that I will be checking with Kathleen on
oh,
to make sure. And you
Wonders.
haven't heard from Kathleen at all
About-
about any of the fireplace since Al talked to her.
no, I don't think no. We've
Okay.
talked about so many other
Because
things.
he said someone would need to pick up the fire pit, someone needs to supply the wood, and someone needs to take care of them, and someone needs to return them to him. Which the fire pits have to cool down before you can
Yes.
even begin to load them or anything else, and put out the cinders, and I'm not sure what all he did with the cinders.
Boy, you really do find out what one soul does when he
Mhm.
stops doing it.
Yeah.
He did so much. didn't
So
he?
I will check with Kathleen on that conversation that he had with her. and
'Cause that could be
verify
quite a
all
lot of
these.
wood.
It's a lot of wood.
How much wood could we check with?
Does he know
Okay.
how much he would haul? A cord, 2 cords? Does he know?
I didn't ask specifically for that, but I can.
Yeah, it would be
'Cause
nice
he
to
usually
know.
would-
About a
he would
truckload. I
know-
couldn't imagine more than a truckload.
He
Yeah.
would know the amount of wood that we,
But it's like
that we
6
burned.
fire pits or something, isn't it?
Easy,
And they're burning for hours.
yeah. Yeah,
So-
one person just continually walking and stoking and feeding.
You know what? I have never been down there to see that part of it because I've always been around here with what was going on. So,
It's been years since I've been down there when it was going, but it's quite the process for sure.
well, and there's
One of
usually a
the-
long line.
One of the
kids.
concerns that I had with the fire pits is even though they've got screens over the top of it and everything, what happens if someone gets burned? Who's liable? Is the city?
They're gonna sue who has the biggest and deepest pockets.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be the city.
Yeah, I
And
know
then-
that's never been an issue, but you always play the devil's advocate in situations because
Just
this is a
depends, I
world of
think.
sue happy people.
Those are all on port property, I think.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what circumstance around it that led up to it.
Yeah.
You know, was it a bystander or was it, you know,
Right.
a port employee, a city employee? Was it, you know, the Fathoms Court person? You know,
Yeah,
but they're gonna list everybody and their brother, and then whoever's gonna be,
they are.
you know.
They are.
So unfortunately, I don't think we have any.
Well, those are questions I will be checking with Pomsa and
Thank you.
Kathleen
Okay.
to make sure that those bases are covered, and I will confer back with you
Okay.
and let you know of that conversation.
Good. And you know, we're actually kind of ahead of the game in some ways. I looked back at our schedule last year, we were talking about some of these things later in the season.
That's a good feeling.
It's a very
Yeah.
good feeling. So we're moving
Yeah.
on very well. Nice, efficient crew here. Thank you. I think that's it for today. A few of us have our assignments. And we still need to look for the canopy like out in front. So I will talk to the chamber, find out if we can use theirs. But that's pretty important to source that. Otherwise, we may have to pay a rental on that too. But it might even be cheaper for us to buy it. So,
Over the long run, to me, it would be most cost effective if the city had it, because then you've always got it.
And I think that where it becomes is if we have it, one, where do we store it? And we may have space, I don't know, these are just questions.
Yeah.
Right.
That I think I've heard in the past is where do we store it? Does it need to be weatherized, and then the staff to store it, weatherize it, pull it out, set
Pull
it
it
up.
out, put it
And I
out, rather
think
than volunteers
It used to be
coordinate
that,
it. Okay.
Employees were instructed to do that, and now, each administration, it's less and less, and based on the administrative, what their provision of what employees should be doing in addition to state mandates, change of laws, so you got this.
Right.
So now it's no longer administration policy, it's whatever RCW says, or
Yeah.
what makes cost effective because we have to pay prevailing wage for somebody when a volunteer can do it, or POPSA can hire somebody to do it for
Which
$10
kind
an
of
hour, or whatever it is, So
Stymies
unfortunately,
the
it's
city by
never an
saying-
easy answer when you
Yeah,
have
you
government
can't.
involved.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nightmare.
I know.
Well, but that's why we'll just collect information, compare, and make
Mhm.
decisions. We got a good crew
And the council's
here.
fully supportive of the event itself.
Mhm.
It's just,
Yeah. Do you decorate the fire
Challenges.
truck
Nope,
at all?
nope, we don't.
It's
Okay.
red.
It's beautiful as it
You
is.
can,
1942
Well,
Ford.
I asked that only because when I gutted out my house, I unloaded all of my garland.
Oh, she's got stuff to
And-
give away.
We're going to have our own Seroptimus booth at
Oh.
Holidays.
industrial.
And if my garland doesn't
Yeah.
sell, I would offer you the garland to drape on the fire truck.
that would, we've done it in the past when we used to use it for the Santa runs. When Port Arthur Fire Department went away, all that stuff went away.
Mm.
Yeah.
But,
Well, after Holidays is over, and if I still have my garland, I'll let you know.
Okay, keep me in
Okay.
touch.
Mm.
Yeah, it can just be taped on to the truck. There's plenty of places to tape it on without damaging
It's not the plastic garland, I mean, it's nice garland
Ooh.
that I had in my house.
Ooh.
My new house doesn't merit me putting up garland.
Okay. All right.
it. All right.
Well, thank you everyone for coming and for all your time.
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is the 30th.
30th.
Yes, so it's really 2 weeks away. I know that's kind of close together, but it's great getting this done early, and then we're set to go. There won't be any panic at the end. We'll probably be working on practice for the chimes. So if you start hearing the same song playing over and over, okay.
Okay, here comes Santa
Here
Claus,
comes
here comes
Santa
Santa
Claus.
Claus.
On that note.